So we are building up the infrastructure that we believe in 10 years, we hope, this is our mission, helping doing business easier. Any business, maybe 80 or 70 business in China, if you want to do business, finding customers, we help you. Financial services, we help you. Deliver services, we help you. Logistic, we help you, and marketing, we help you, and the other thing is data, we help you. This century is competition of a brain. So brain, I think women and men are same. And the other issue is that this century is trying to use a friendliness, care others more than care yourself. Our vision is bigger. We just think that we don't want to be, we might be bigger than Walmart this year or next year. And I remember 7 years ago, the senior management, like a vice chairman or something, come to Hangzhou. We have of Walmart, we have a drink and Nasaki. A drink, and I said, sir, in 10 years, we will be bigger than Walmart globally. He looked at me and said, young man, very good vision.
When I was young, one thing that always intrigued me was the courage needed to make decisions. In life, in business, everyone is afraid of making the wrong decision. But if you never make a decision, how can you expect anything to happen? At the beginning of Alibaba, we faced countless difficult choices. We didn't know what to do, but we knew we had to do something. You don't need to know exactly where you're going, but you do need to take the first step. I remember one time when all our competitors were following a traditional path focused on physical stores. My team and I decided to invest everything in e-commerce. People told me it was crazy, that the future lay in physical stores. But I believed we were building something different, something that would solve real problems for small businesses. You have to trust your vision, even when the world seems to disagree. Life is like a game of chess, where every move counts. Sometimes you lose a piece, but the bigger strategy can still lead to victory. When we face challenges, it's our ability to decide quickly and learn from those decisions that sets us apart. Many people think that success only comes from knowledge, but true success comes from action. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because they are what make us stronger and wiser. Don't wait for the conditions to be perfect before making a decision. The truth is that the perfect moment never comes. If you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, you need to move forward, even if others are hesitant. Alibaba grew because we decided to act while others were thinking. Opportunities are always around us, but only those who have the courage to act seize them. A decision is like a planted seed. At first, it seems small and insignificant, but over time, if you nurture it, it grows into something great. Many of our greatest achievements at Alibaba started with a small decision made with courage and determination. And it is this courage that I want you to adopt in your lives. When you choose to act, you choose your future. Finally, always remember, the future belongs to those who have the courage to create their own path. You don't need to wait for anyone's permission or approval. The courage to make decisions, even in the face of doubt and fear, is what differentiates a leader from a follower. And it is this courage that will take you places you never thought possible. When we talk about success, the first thing many people ignore is failure. Failure is an essential part of any journey, but few are prepared to face it. I personally have failed countless times, from being rejected by the police to failing 30 job interviews, including one at KFC, where I was the only one out of 24 applicants not to be accepted. This taught me that failure is just a gateway, not the end of the road. Learning from failure means understanding that each rejection, each closed door, is preparing us for something greater. When I was rejected by Harvard 10 times, I could have given up. But I realized that failure was shaping me. It was teaching me resilience. Failure is the best teacher you can have. You don't learn to be strong in success, but in the moments when everything seems to go wrong, the real lesson lies in how you respond to failure. You can regret it and give up, or you can use it as fuel to improve. Failure forces us to analyze what went wrong, to find creative solutions, and above all, to become stronger. Many people avoid failure at all costs, but in fact, it is precisely failure that drives us to innovate and grow. It's what gives us a clear vision of where we can improve and where we really are strong. When I started Alibaba, we faced significant failures. Nobody believed in the business model. I was told I was crazy, that China would never do business online. In the first few years, we didn't generate a penny of revenue, and there were times when it seemed that all was lost. But it was in those moments of failure that we found the most innovative ideas, like Alipay, which has become one of the most successful digital payment solutions. Without failure, this idea might never have been born. Failure is not something to be ashamed of. It is a necessary stage for any entrepreneur. Learning to deal with it is fundamental to continuing to grow. Success is often just a series of failures that have been put to good use. If you can learn from your mistakes, if you can pick yourself up each time you fall, then failure will become your greatest advantage. So the next time you come up against failure, don't see it as an enemy. See it as a mentor, an opportunity to learn, grow, and eventually triumph. Because at the end of the day, what matters is not how many times you fail, but how many times you have the courage to get up and try again. I often see people obsessed with instant success, that idea of quick and immediate gains. But believe me, real success isn't built overnight. When I started with Alibaba, I wasn't thinking about next month or next quarter. I was thinking about the next 10, 15 years. In a world where everyone is looking for immediate results, having a long-term vision is like sailing on an ocean knowing exactly where the boat is going, even if the waves try to steer you away. What many people don't understand is that long-term vision is what sustains a business in difficult times. When we face the storm, it is this vision that keeps us on course. I remember when we faced countless rejections and failures. What kept me going was the clarity of where I wanted to go. It wasn't just about surviving, it was about building something that would have an impact and relevance in the future. And you know what? Long-term vision is also a great motivator for the team. When they see that you're not just worried about next quarter's results, but about a solid and prosperous future, it creates a sense of purpose. They begin to understand that they are building something bigger than themselves. And it's this understanding that fuels motivation and dedication at every step of the journey. When I think back to the start of Alibaba, the most important thing that kept me going was having a clear purpose. It wasn't just about making money or being the biggest. It was about creating something that had a real impact on people and business. Having a clear purpose is like having a compass in the middle of a storm. It's what keeps you on course when the going gets tough. Without this purpose, it's easy to lose direction and get carried away by the distractions of the business world. A clear purpose is not just a nice slogan or an inspiring statement. It's something that should be ingrained in every decision you make, in every strategy you create. It's why you do what you do. And when that why is strong enough, it becomes a driving force that guides your actions and decisions. I remember many times when, faced with challenges, returning to our purpose gave us the strength and clarity we needed to keep going. Having a clear purpose also helps to attract people who share the same vision. When you know exactly what you're fighting for, it's easier to find other people who believe in the same thing. And these are the people who will walk with you even when the going gets tough. They're not just there for the salary or benefits, but because they believe in the same dream. And don't think that a clear purpose is something you find overnight. It evolves over time. In the beginning, my purpose was simply to show the world that small businesses could have a global platform. Over time, this evolved into something much bigger, to create an ecosystem that could benefit not just merchants, but society as a whole. And that's the power of purpose. It grows along with you and your vision. One important thing about having a purpose is that it needs to be genuine. People can sense when you're being authentic. If you're just talking about purpose to look good or attract attention, people will notice. But when your purpose is real, it becomes a magnet that attracts opportunities and connections you never imagined. And finally, never underestimate the impact of a clear purpose on overcoming obstacles. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, it's much easier to maintain the motivation and resilience needed to keep moving forward, even in the face of adversity. It's like an inexhaustible fuel that powers your journey. When I started Alibaba, I knew I couldn't do it alone. I needed a team that shared the same vision and believed in what we were building. I firmly believe that a strong team is one that not only works together, but also shares the same dreams and goals. It's not a question of having the most talented people, but of having people who believe in the same mission. It is this collective belief that moves mountains. I remember when we were recruiting our first team members. We weren't just looking for technical skills. We were after people who were passionate about the vision we had, people who were willing to sacrifice the short term in exchange for a better future. And you know, I was often asked how I kept these people motivated. The truth is, it wasn't just the money. It was the idea of being part of something bigger than ourselves. The key to building this kind of team is communication. You need to be clear about the company's vision and purpose. People need to know where they're going and why they're going in that direction. And it's not enough to say it once. It's something you need to repeat constantly, in every meeting, in every decision. This clarity and consistency creates a sense of belonging and purpose that keeps everyone aligned. I've also learned that a team that shares its vision is a team that supports each other in difficult times. Because let's be honest, there will be times when things fall apart. That's when the true strength of a team reveals itself. When everyone is connected by a common vision, they lift each other up. They face challenges together, knowing that they are working for something bigger than their individual problems. But building such a team doesn't happen overnight. You have to invest time and energy in each person. Understand what motivates them, what inspires them. It's a continuous process of learning and adjusting. You need to be willing to listen, adapt, and grow together with your team. And it's this connection that creates a culture of trust and collaboration where everyone feels part of something meaningful. Finally, I believe that a team that shares your vision is one of the most valuable assets a company can have. They don't just work for the paycheck at the end of the month. They work because they believe in what they're doing. And that's what makes all the difference when it comes to making big dreams come true. When I talk about putting customers first, many people think it's just about selling more or keeping the customer happy. But the truth is, to really put customers first, you need to start by looking after your employees. Employees who feel valued, motivated, and happy naturally create a better experience for customers. It's like planting a seed in fertile soil. The fruit will be sweeter and more abundant. I remember the early days of Alibaba. We were a small group, but everyone believed deeply in what we were doing. Back then, we didn't have many resources, but we had each other. We created an environment where everyone felt they were part of something important, something bigger. And that energy, that passion spilled over to our clients. They could feel that we were really committed to helping them, and that made all the difference. You need to create an environment where your employees feel safe to innovate, to experiment, and even to fail. because it's through these experiences that they grow and become better at what they do. And when they grow, the company grows with them. An employee who feels part of the company's growth process is an employee who goes above and beyond to ensure customer satisfaction. They become brand ambassadors. But this doesn't happen by chance. You have to invest time and effort in understanding what your employees need. It's not just about salaries or benefits, although those are important. It's about creating an environment where they feel listened to, where their ideas are valued and where they have the opportunity to develop. It's about showing them that you're as committed to their success as you are to the success of the company. And, many companies make the mistake of thinking that looking after employees is a cost. But I see it as an investment that pays off in the form of satisfied customers, innovative products, and a healthy company. When you look after your employees, they look after your customers. And when customers are happy, they come back. They talk about you. They become brand advocates. It's a virtuous cycle that starts within your own team. So the next time you think about putting customers first, remember that it starts with taking care of the people around you every day, because they're the ones who will make your dream grow. Innovation is a word that everyone likes to use, but few understand the true meaning. It's not just about creating something new or revolutionary. Innovation, for me, is the ability to see what others can't see and do what others don't dare to do. It's about solving problems in a way that no one has thought of before and adding continuous value. And innovation doesn't always come from big ideas. It often comes from small adjustments, small improvements on what already exists. When we started Alibaba, innovation wasn't something we planned on a whiteboard. It happened because we were willing to try new things, even if that meant failing a few times. We were always asking, how can we make this better? How can we make it easier for our customers and employees? Innovation is about refusing to accept the status quo and always looking for something more efficient, more effective, more impactful. Have you ever noticed that many of the greatest advances in history have arisen from a problem? The need to solve an issue is what drives creativity. So when I see a challenge, I see an opportunity to innovate. If you look at what everyone else is doing and try to do the same thing, you'll never be innovative. It takes courage to look at what no one else is looking at and do what no one else is doing. Innovation is about taking risks, about getting out of your comfort zone and exploring the unknown. But innovation isn't just about products or services. It's also about processes, about how you run your business. Often, small changes in how you do something can result in big improvements. It could be a new method of serving customers, a more efficient way of organizing staff, or a new approach to solving an old problem. Innovation is everywhere if you're willing to look for it. And make no mistake, innovation doesn't happen in an environment where people are afraid to make mistakes. You need to create a culture where failure is seen as a natural part of the learning process, where people feel safe to experiment, to test new ideas without fear of reprisals, because it is through this trial and error that true innovations emerge. And remember, innovation is an ongoing process. It's never finished. You should always be asking yourself, what's next? How can we do it even better? Innovation is the key to choosing your future because it keeps you ahead of the competition, keeping your company relevant and constantly growing. So instead of asking, why innovate? Ask, why not innovate? Change is the only constant in life. And in the business world, this is no different. Things are always changing. The market changes, technology changes, customers change, and if you don't change with them, you'll be left behind. Resilience is the skill that allows us not only to survive these changes, but to thrive in them. It's about adapting, getting up after a fall, and continuing forward even when the going gets tough. On my journey with Alibaba, we faced countless changes and challenges. There were times when everything seemed to be falling apart. I remember when we first started, and the concept of e-commerce was something totally new. Many people said we were crazy, that it would never work in China. But we persisted. We knew that if we were resilient and kept adapting our approach, we would eventually find a way to make it work. And it did. Resilience isn't just about willpower. It's also about perspective. It's about how you see the challenges you face. If you see them as insurmountable obstacles, you'll be defeated before you even start. But if you see them as opportunities to learn and grow, they become part of your success process. Change can be scary, but it can also be the catalyst for innovation and growth. And resilience isn't a skill you're born with. It's something you develop over time. Each challenge you face and overcome makes you a little stronger, a little more prepared for the next one. It's like a muscle that you strengthen each time you use it. So the next time you encounter an obstacle in your path, see it as an opportunity to build your resilience. And remember, it's not about never falling, but about always getting up. The business world is unpredictable. You never know what might happen tomorrow. There could be an economic crisis, a new competitor, or a change in customer preferences. But if you have resilience, you have the ability to adapt and thrive, no matter what. And this is one of the keys to choosing your future. It's not just about having a plan. It's about being prepared to change the plan when necessary. Resilience is the difference between those who give up in the face of adversity and those who use it as a springboard to something greater. It's about taking the long view and understanding that even if things are difficult now, that's part of the process. And above all, it's about keeping faith in yourself and your vision, even when no one else does. And often the real opportunity is hidden where you least expect it. At the beginning of Alibaba, one of the biggest difficulties we faced was the issue of deliveries. In China, logistics has always been a challenge, especially in remote areas. Large logistics companies were unwilling to deliver to every corner of the country, leaving a large part of the population without access to the products we sold online. For many, this seemed like an impossible obstacle to overcome, but for us, it was an invisible opportunity. We decided to work with small local entrepreneurs to solve this problem. Instead of relying on big logistics companies, we started empowering individuals and small businesses to make deliveries in their own communities. It may have seemed like a risky move at the time, but we believed in the power of these people to change the situation. Each of these deliveries was an opportunity to create a network that met the needs of our customers wherever they were. Today, this local delivery system has become one of Alibaba's greatest strengths. We have around 3 million people working just with these small local deliveries. Not only have we managed to overcome the logistical barrier, but we've also created job opportunities for millions of people. That's what I call turning a difficulty into a competitive advantage. These people know their areas better than any big company could, and they bring with them an entrepreneurial spirit that is vital to the success of our platform. This innovative approach has allowed us to reach even the most remote corners of China. Places where it was almost impossible to make a delivery now have access to products from all over the world thanks to these small local couriers. And it's not just about deliveries, it's about creating a connection with the customer, showing that each package is delivered by someone who is part of the same community. This builds trust and loyalty, something that can't be bought but must be earned. Working with small local entrepreneurs has also changed the way we see success. It's not just about expanding our presence, but doing so in a way that benefits people at all levels. Logistics is no longer a barrier for us, but an advantage that sets us apart from other companies. By empowering people in their own communities, we have created a logistics network that is fast, efficient, and most importantly, humanized. This is the true spirit of finding invisible opportunities. Instead of seeing a problem as an obstacle, we saw it as a chance to innovate and create value for everyone. And that's a lesson that applies to any business. The challenges you face today can be the basis for your success tomorrow if you're willing to think creatively and act boldly. At the beginning of my journey, I realized that the world is constantly evolving. Technology, markets, customer expectations, everything changes quickly. When I started Alibaba, I didn't know much about technology, but I knew that in order to be successful, I needed to continuously learn and adapt to these changes. And that's a principle we should all adopt. Never stop learning. It's the key to staying relevant and prepared for the future. I remember a moment shortly after we started Alibaba when technology changed dramatically. The internet went from a curiosity to a necessity. I could have ignored these changes and continued with our traditional methods, but I decided to take the plunge and learn everything I could about these new technologies. This not only helped me to improve our business, but also allowed me to better understand our customers' needs and desires. Because at the end of the day, learning isn't just for your benefit, it's for the benefit of those you serve. Continuous learning is not just about acquiring new skills, but also about unlearning old practices that no longer work. Often, we are so used to doing things a certain way that we forget to question whether this is the best way to do them. At Alibaba, we are always encouraging our team to challenge the status quo, to find more efficient ways of doing things. That's why we invest so much in training and development. Because we believe that the more our team learns, the more value we can offer our customers. Another thing I've learned is that learning doesn't just happen in the classroom or by reading books. It happens in day-to-day interactions, in conversations with clients, in partnerships with other entrepreneurs. One of my greatest teachers was my own experience, the mistakes and failures we faced along the way. Every challenge overcome was a lesson learned. And it is this mentality of learning from everything and everyone around us that keeps us innovating and growing. It's important to understand that learning is a continuous process and not a final destination. Even today, after years of leading one of the largest companies in the world, I am still learning. If there's one thing Alibaba has taught me, it's that learning never stops. There is always something new to discover, a new skill to develop, a new way of thinking. And it's this relentless pursuit of knowledge that keeps us ahead, that allows us to keep growing and adapting in an ever-changing world. So if you want to choose your future, choose the path of continuous learning. Because what you know today may not be enough for tomorrow's challenges. Always be willing to learn, to grow, to reinvent yourself. And remember, learning is not just about you. It's about how you can use this knowledge to help others, to create value and make a difference in the world. Because in the end, that's what really matters. When we started Alibaba, one of the biggest challenges we faced